much. We are looking forward to this one here in College Station. It is live and it is loud here at Reed Arena as we welcome you to ESPN's Saturday Primetime. You are watching the SEC on ESPN. A&M has lost 2 in a row. Kentucky has won 6 in a row, including an impressive win in Gainesville against Florida. Then they beat Missouri midweek. They are playing really well right now. Dan Shulman and Jay Billis, great atmosphere, and John Calipari's got to feel really good about his team right now.
Well, Kentucky's got an elite offensive team. They average 91 points a game, and they're really elite in transition. And how can Texas A&M stop that? With their offensive rebounding. They get 45% of their misses. Pressure on the rim can slow that transition.
And you look at some of the numbers for the Kentucky offense, they are all over the place on the leaderboards, top 10 in the country in this, that, and a bunch of other things too.
Well, it's their efficiency that's so impressive. They don't turn the ball over, even being such a young team. Everybody they put on the floor can all dribble, pass, and shoot, especially Antonio Reeves. The transfer from Illinois State is having a spectacular year, leading this team in scoring, the best three-point shooter in the Southeastern Conference in his last 4 games. He's averaging over 22 points per game, shooting 55% from the field. And his counterpart for Texas A&M is Wade Taylor IV, the preseason SEC Player of the Year. He leads this team in scoring. He had 35 points in a game against Florida Atlantic earlier this year, 34 against Houston. He can really score, but he's coming off his worst game, 2 of 16 against Auburn.
And we've got a new teammate we want to introduce you to. She's going to be a part of our team for the Saturday primetime games. You may know her from college football, college game day football. You may know her from Good Morning America. You may know her from Peloton, tread, strength, boot camp. We are all very happy to have Jess Sims with us here today. Jess.
Dan, thank you so much for that introduction. No one could be happier than me. Hi, Jay. The energy in here is incredible. Now, A&M's Coach Buzz and Wade Taylor IV talk over 25 times a day. But yesterday, before practice, their conversation was more of a heart-to-heart. Being named preseason Player of the Year is a huge blessing for Wade, but also a huge responsibility. As a sub-6-foot point guard, Wade often heard, "Hey, you know what? I'm not sure you're good enough," a phrase that Buzz has also heard quite a bit himself in his own career. So Buzz had to remind him that he's here because he believes in him 100% and to use that edge today against Kentucky.
Jess, thank you. Yeah, the word edge came up a lot yesterday in our conversation with Buzz Williams. They're coming off a great year last year, went 15-3 in the SEC. Jay, they are 0-2 so far in the league this year, and this is an extremely competitive league. Obviously, John Calipari's team is 2-0 in the league. This one should be fun. Such a competitive league top to bottom. You go on the road, and we saw that with some of the top teams in the country over the past week. It is not easy going on the road. I don't care who you're playing or what league you're in. Conference play is a different animal.
Well, especially when you're a team like Kentucky that is going to get everybody's best shot. You have to elevate your game when you go on the road. And Kentucky had better have packed its defense and especially its rebounding in this game, because Texas A&M crashes the glass like few other teams in the country.
And the delay here is something going on with the scoreboard. As we look up to the scoreboard where you're supposed to see the 5 players on the floor, it's not the right people. But that's not going to delay the game any further. We are underway with the Aggies winning the opening tip. As long as they get our names right, everything else is fine.
Exactly. Shulman without a C.
Thank you. Wade Taylor IV, preseason SEC Player of the Year with a beautiful little pocket pass that will send Wildens Levesque to the free throw line.
A difficult action to deal with, a little ball screen right around the short corner. And if you help up, that pocket pass is open. Antonio Reeves has to come over from the weak side. A good opening play for Texas A&M to put some pressure on that rim.
Levesque, a grad transfer, came from UMass. And you'll see a lot of him, and you'll see a lot of Anderson Garcia. Both of them are terrific rebounders, specifically offensive rebounders, and that is the big concern for John Calipari, is the rate at which the Aggies get their own misses. Better than 44%, #1 in the nation.
A 1-2-2 3/4 court pressure for Texas A&M, trapping across half court.
And it forces a deflection and nearly a turnover.
Well, Buzz Williams always has his team playing hard. This, like Jess Sims talked about playing with an edge, and Buzz Williams talked about increasing that edge. Your edge is what got you here. In order to stay here and elevate, you have to increase that edge. They didn't have it against LSU, but got it back against Auburn. And they're really going to need it against Kentucky.
Yeah, they did lose at Auburn, but were much more competitive. It was a one-possession game with 2 minutes to go before they lost by 11 as DJ Wagner ties it up for the Wildcats.
DJ Wagner starting to play his best basketball. Over his last 4 games, he's about 14 points a game. He can get downhill in a hurry.
Taylor short on the baseline jumper. He is 4th in the conference in scoring, but he has really struggled to score the ball the last 2 games, both losses for the Aggies.
Well, Taylor, all he has to do is make a couple. He can get his own, but you're going to see Kentucky trying to force him to his left off of every ball screen. That's basically how their defense works.
Boy, he is wide open off a screen and buries the 3 after going 0 for 8 from beyond the arc in the midweek loss to Auburn.
Just went to set a little staggered screen. Instead, he came off as the cutter off a little pin down. He was wide open on that action.
Now he finds himself defending Trey Mitchell, a 6'9" forward. It'll be Antonio Reeves lofting the 3. Mitchell with the offensive rebound, and Reeves gets a second crack at it and buries it.
Uncanny. The best time to shoot a 3 is after the offensive rebound. And because Wade Taylor had to switch off on Trey Mitchell, he was at a disadvantage on the glass, but a really intelligent play by Mitchell to kick it back out for that step-in 3.
And you see the numbers for Reeves, better than 18 points per game, 42% shooting the 3 this season.
I think he's an NBA player. Antonio Reeves is so good coming off screens, a very good cutter, and he's got a good mid-range game.
Henry Coleman III with a turnaround that'll softly drop in to put the Aggies back on top.
What a move by Henry Coleman. You don't see that very often. He needs to be offensive-minded in this game.
Justin Edwards with a shot fake and a kick. It's Reeves again, and it's his second 3 already.
Well, when you're flying to the ball, you can leave players open, but one guy you do not want to leave open is Antonio Reeves. You cannot leave him.
And an and one opportunity at the other end for Tyrese Radford.
Tyrese Radford is a lefty. Missed a few games this year with injury. You let him get to that left hand, he can be so dangerous. He's a body seeker. And Wade Taylor, watch him. He's going to pass off here and then go like he's going to set a screen, then come back off the screen. Levesque picks off DJ Wagner, and he's wide open at the top of the key. That's good action by Texas A&M.
And Jay, already 2 fouls on Aaron Bradshaw, who's been playing great. He is the reigning SEC Freshman of the Week. Onyenso is in. Radford is open and rattles it home, and it's a 5-point trip for A&M.
And that's what A&M does. They couldn't grab the rebound, so they tapped it out. Anderson Garcia is really good at that, but that's where the guards have to be more alert for Kentucky. They have to be there to get those tap outs.
Mitchell misses the 3. Radford in transition, 6th-year player. Redshirted at Virginia Tech, then played there for 2 years, now 3 years here. Deep one for Taylor. Oh boy!
That's his game, Dan. He sees one go in, forget it. He can go off on you for 30 plus at 34 against Houston when Texas A&M was down 21, still came back, had a chance to win.
And 35 against Florida Atlantic, but he's going to have to do everything he can just to keep pace with Reeves at the other end. That's his 3rd one already.
It's already a shootout in the first 4 minutes of the first half.
Radford, what a crossover. Hayden Hefner open in the corner. And over the back goes Levesque.
When Texas A&M cannot get the ball, kind of like North Carolina has always done, they will tap it back out. But that's where the guards up top have to be alert, because if you get that tap out, you can get a run out going the other end. And Wade Taylor has tremendous range, barely 6 feet tall, but he can get his own, good off pick and roll. And when he gets hot, it is hard to cool him down.
Reed Sheppard and Rob Dillingham both into the game and now for Kentucky. Two stalwarts off the bench, averaging better than 26 points per game between them. Look at that follow tip by Trey Mitchell.
Trey Mitchell is having a great year. He's the most indispensable player, in my view, on this Kentucky roster. He's such an outstanding passer. He can guard multiple spots. He can play the 5 for you.
Boy, Taylor feeling it, comes up empty there. Now the Cats are in transition. Dillingham tough to catch. And he finds Onyenso for the slam that ties it.
That's the problem with a bad or questionable shot for Texas A&M, is it leads to a run out, and you cannot guard a run out. Shot selection is so important when you play Kentucky, because your offense has to help your defense. It has to help your transition defense.
And John Calipari looking for big minutes from Onyenso today, especially with Bradshaw on the bench as Radford powers his way to the rim again.
The most important thing in ball screen coverage is the ball. And you let Texas A&M get downhill, and they are going into your body, and you can try to get to the free throw line, and Tyrese Radford gets to that left hand, and you really have to cut him off. Onyenso didn't do it, and Radford made him pay. But this is where Kentucky excels, in transition, the pass ahead, and then the pass back for the easy basket.
A lot of them are back here to see this big-time SEC matchup against Kentucky, and they're hoping that the offense can do more than it's done the last couple of games. All season long, A&M has struggled to shoot the ball, but they get a lot more shots because of the offensive rebounding. They get to the line a lot. So low percentages, but still they can be good offensively when they dominate the glass and make a decent amount, and they're making a decent amount early. For more on the Aggies, here's Jess.
Yeah, guys, so I was just in the huddle, and Coach Buzz was saying 3 main things. He said we can't be giving up on transitions. Coleman can't be gambling like he did on that last play, and 1 shot and done. No more wide open looks for Reeves.
Yeah, Reeves has hurt them. Thank you, Jess. 3 threes already, and you talked about an ill-advised shot is almost like starting your opponent's fast break, and you don't want to mess around with Kentucky and let them get out and run.
Well, that's the lifeblood of this Kentucky team, is transition. And the lifeblood for this Texas A&M team is offensive rebounding. And you got to put a body on everybody, because sometimes they'll send 4 guys to the offensive glass, and that can give you some transition opportunities, but it's a tough decision for Texas A&M. Do they send everybody to the glass and risk not getting back, or do they send people back and, you know, take away a strength of theirs, which is their offensive board coverage?
Yeah, even Radford, who's like a 6'2.5" guard, he's one of the best rebounding guards in the country. Solomon Washington has that 3 blocked by Sheppard, but he just stays with it and eventually puts it home.
Well, Anderson Garcia had turned to rebound. He didn't know that the shot was blocked. It just came right to him. And then Solomon Washington, who is a spectacular athlete, just motored right to the offensive glass.
Plays the game and practices with a lot of energy. We saw that yesterday. Washington has missed the last couple of games. Had a hard fall to the court, hit his head on the court the game before that. Missed 2 games, full practice yesterday and in there today.
Texas A&M is switching everything. Kentucky's got to realize it and go to the matchup.
Taylor finds Jace Carter, and it's a 6-point lead for A&M.
Everything has been a switch. Great help there by Wade Taylor IV, and that starts some transition to get it to Jace Carter for an easy bucket. Yeah, we call these easy baskets, but you have to do something really difficult in order to get an easy basket. And the Texas A&M defense, with their switching and their gap coverage, has been very engaged to start this game. The only mistake they've made is leaving Antonio Reeves too much.
Reeves finds Jordan Burks, who just checked into the game, and he is immediately fouled. And the freshman from Decatur, Alabama, will be heading to the line.
Good job to break the pressure with a diagonal pass, then getting it down to the short corner.
So Burks at the line, sporadic minutes, up and down over the minutes over the course of the season so far for the freshman. We've got another SEC matchup coming for you here on ESPN right after this one. Arkansas and Florida. Each of these 2 schools has lost 2 in a row, and that means they're 0-2 in league play. So as competitive as this league is, and both of these teams they can be really good, but this is a game that you got to imagine, Jay, is going to be played with a lot of urgency down in Gainesville.
Well, you remember last year this Kentucky team started, I think, 0-2 in SEC play when they went on the road to Tennessee, and they were shorthanded, wound up winning the game. You know, it is early in conference play, and whether you're 2-0 or 0-2, there's a long way to go.
A full slate of SEC games here on this Saturday. Tennessee, they were in some trouble late and roared back and beat Georgia 85-79. At Georgia, the Bulldogs had come in having won 10 in a row. A big come from behind victory for the Vols. Dillingham, Burks can't lay it in. Here come the Aggies. And that's out of bounds, still belongs to A&M.
John Calipari spent the last few days with his team talking about physical rebounding and also making sure that you stay down on shot fakes. Do not allow Texas A&M to fuel themselves at the free throw line. Make them make shots over you, which is not their strength.
And he's going with his smallest lineup. This is a lineup that he used a lot at the beginning of the season before Aaron Bradshaw and Onyenso got healthy, with Trey Mitchell playing at the 5, and he is more than capable of doing that. But this is a small lineup for Kentucky against a team that can really get on the glass.
A strong move by Jace Carter after the ball was knocked away.
And now a foul on Carter.
Carter transferred in from UIC, Illinois Chicago, where he's averaged about 16 points, 7 rebounds a game, got a lot of steals.
For Kentucky, Onyenso back in. Mitchell will get a breather. He rarely comes out. He played 40 minutes in their last game.
Well, with Thiero out with an injury, he's having to play more minutes. And with those minutes, he's been a double-double machine.
And Zvonimir Ivisic, the freshman from Croatia, he's still waiting to hear from the NCAA if and when he might be granted eligibility.
One thing Kentucky cannot do in this game is be a jump shooting team. They still have to attack the paint because that's what Texas A&M is going to do. They want to get paint touches and put you in a position to foul them.
Carter for 3. Tipped back out. And they had it briefly, but turn it over. Sheppard finds Dillingham. Steps through, and that's a goaltending call on Washington.
Rob Dillingham is so shifty with the basketball. Unbelievably fast with the ball in his hands. I think if the Kentucky team lined up and had a race from one end to the other, 94 feet, I'm not sure he'd win all those. With the ball in his hands, he's going to win them all.
If you're the kind to look at NBA mock drafts, you'll find him. Whoa! Manny Obaseki, who's an unbelievable athlete, just gave you a glimpse.
The lefty who can really handle the ball at 6'4", plays a lot of point guard. Right. He just crossed over. They were trying to force him to his left. He turned down that ball screen, then got back to that left hand. And that's a top 10 right there. What a beautiful play by Manny Obaseki.
Not about minutes. It's about everybody taking care of their business, being responsible for themselves. And I'm sure he anticipated this, but he is seeing a group of Aggies, Jay, who have come out here and they have played hard from the moment this game began.
Well, Kentucky has to expect that with every opponent they play, that they're going to get everybody's best shot. That's always been the way at a place like Kentucky or North Carolina, UCLA, Duke, Indiana, you name it. You know you're getting everybody's A game. So you watch film of how Texas A&M played against LSU or Auburn.
Right.
And no disrespect to those opponents, but Kentucky players have to look at that film and go, that's not what we're going to get.
Lane violation just cost Kentucky a point, so it's now the Aggies by 8.
Texas A&M blitzing a ball screen out top.
Edwards with the corner three, the assist to Dillingham.
He's starting to play now. Had 13 points, 7 rebounds, and a couple of steals against Louisville. But he was just 2 of his last 17 from 3 over an 8-game stretch. So that was an important bucket for Justin Edwards.
Carter's feeling it and hits it. And each team has already made 4 3-pointers in this game.
Now, Jace Carter's only shooting about 20% from 3 on the season.
Again, 3-point shooting, not the strength of the Aggies this year. Just 26% out of 362 Division I programs. They're 355th coming into this game.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Good crossover.
Carter. Shot fake. He'll try it again, but it won't go down, and there's another tip. But Sheppard has it, only to eventually foul Taylor.
Well, Sheppard didn't come up with it, but he was alert to that tap out and almost wound up taking that the other way. Just knocked it away from Ivisic, but give Wade Taylor credit for not giving up on that play. Wound up picking up the foul on Sheppard instead. Yeah, that's one you don't fault anybody because guys were going after it.
Yep. A&M, they've had their highs and lows this year. They played a tough non-conference schedule. They have wins over Penn State and Iowa State and some close losses to some good teams, including a 6-point loss to Memphis. Lost to Florida Atlantic by 7, but overall just 9-6, 0-2 in league play. They were picked 2nd in the league preseason. Kentucky was picked 4th. Carter, and knocked away by Sheppard. Dillingham, no look. Wagner, Edwards, Mitchell.
What a pass in transition by Dillingham. This is such a good passing Kentucky team. It's remarkable, as young as this team is, they rarely turn the ball over.
And they have 4 different players, each averaging at least 3 assists per game. Radford gets the offensive rebound.
Had to battle one of his own teammates to get it. And he's one of the best offensive rebounding guards in the country.
Was in Blacksburg, and he is here as well, as Coleman lost it out of bounds.
Just that elbow catch. You want to try to extend that if you can. Watch this pass in transition. Ball gets knocked away by Reed Sheppard, and Dillingham brings it right up. That's a beautiful pass and a heck of a catch too.
Wonder if they gave Edwards an assist. He actually just couldn't handle the pass and inadvertently tipped it to Mitchell.
That's the one thing where basketball needs to go like hockey.
Yeah.
The pass that leads to the assist ought to be rewarded too. His arm wrapped around him.
Ivisic steps in and lays it in.
Sort of a delayed, almost Euro step type move.
Ivisic, a 6'4" junior from Allen, Texas. Backs up Wade Taylor. Sometimes will play with him.
Doesn't shoot it, but does everything else.
Dillingham, no.
I'm not sure some of these jump shots are exactly what John Calipari wants.
Well, he's bringing his best jump shot guy, Reeves, back into the game. He just sent him to the scorer's table. Radford, good defense by Edwards. Nice look ahead by Sheppard. Dillingham up and in.
That's the transition that you're so afraid of, and the pass ahead, you nailed it, is the key. The ball moves faster in the air than it can on the ground, and Kentucky is well aware of that.
And this game kind of to form. Kentucky up 8-2 in fast break points. The Aggies up 6-2 in offensive rebounds.
So many guys to the glass, that opens up transition for Kentucky, and they get a layup out of it.
Yeah, when you got guys like Dillingham and Wagner coming at you full speed, good luck with that.
Well, and that's the choice that Texas A&M has to make. Are you going to put pressure on the rim and keep going to the glass, send 4 guys, and be at a deficit in transition if you don't get the rebound? And especially when you have Tyrese Radford driving in, you know, your defensive balance is not so great.
Coleman off the glass and good. Ivisic the assist.
Well, that's a tough catch on the short roll, but a nice adjustment by Henry Coleman.
Freshman year at Duke, played sparingly. 3rd year here in College Station. A turnover and transition.
Good fake.
Boy, they're on the glass again, and they got a hand on it, and it's their ball. Radford kept it alive, and it'll belong to the Aggies when we come back. When we come back into Buzz Williams Book Club. Jay Billis looking very studious up there in the office.
Why'd they give me a corncob pipe? That's so low class.
Welcome to Book Club with Buzz Williams. And Buzz, you've been reading for over a decade, a book a week. Why?
I just think it's a way for me to learn, a way for me to grow, and hopefully I can translate some of that wisdom to those that are around me and help.
What kind of books do you read?
Leadership, spiritual, a lot of biographies, a lot of things relative to business, very little basketball related stuff. If it's about a coach, I'll read it.
Where do you find the time with how busy you are as a coach and all the responsibilities you have?
In truth, Jay, I think it kind of helps calm me down, be productive with my time, not always watching tape.
What's one thing you've read in the last year you've been able to use with your team?
I use a lot. I would say one of the most recent things that I've used with the team is you'll know what you're thinking by what you say.
Do you have a book you could recommend to me with a lot of pictures?
I have a Dr. Seuss books back here that I send to those that are newborns.
I could use that. Book Club with Buzz.
Newborns. He's got you figured out.
Well, Buzz Williams is a next level thinker, and he may be the most engaged coach with his team that I've ever been around. He invests a ton of time in his players off the floor. And, you know, Jess Sims talked about how he talks 25 times a day or so with Wade Taylor IV. But he has classes, he teaches classes here at Texas A&M, but he has classes with his team. It's called like Get Better Day, where they'll bring somebody in, teach them how to change a tire, teach them how to do all these different things that are completely unrelated to basketball. And they just have a magnificent culture here at Texas A&M.
We talked to him for about 15 minutes yesterday. We didn't talk about basketball at all. How he has enough time of the day to be a coach and a dad and a voracious reader. And this is mostly because he was blown away by Jess Sims being on our crew. He was in awe of her. And he told us he didn't miss a workout a single day last year. Basketball clinics for special needs children. And you talked about all the letter writing and all the positive messaging. He is very, very much about culture and leadership and being part of a team. He's not just coaching basketball players. He's coaching young people up. He's a true father figure to a lot of these players.
Well, and you look at his schedule every day and his calendar, it gave me a headache, the stuff he does every day. Just an incredibly disciplined leader.
I would have thought he was a cyborg, except he's got a box of Frosted Flakes in the office on the shelf. So
well, it had his picture.
That made me feel a little bit better. Hefner has it knocked away.
It's great defense by Reeves Sheppard.
Reeves to Wagner. And count the basket. It'll be a goaltending call on Levesque.
They can take a look at that because it was called.
Which if they choose to, they would do at the under 4 during the timeout.
Yeah, I didn't think that was a goaltend at all. I thought that was a good block, honestly.
I agree with you. So the points are on the board now.
And they'll come off if they look at it.
Yeah, but they won't do that until the under 4 to keep the game moving.
And it's probably a smart way to officiate it. You know, make the call if there's that much doubt. You can go back and check it out. It's almost like we need a replay official that can do that for these guys on the floor.
Radford somehow gets all the way to the rim and extends the lead to 6.
That's been a little bit of a problem for Kentucky, is just guarding the ball, and they're letting Tyrese Radford get to that left hand way too easy.
Radford's got 9, Carter 7, Taylor 6, Obaseki 5, Sheppard out of bounds.
Tyrese Radford is a driver. He's not a shooter. He can make a shot, but he's not a shooter. And a terrific job by Levesque to shield off Onyenso, the shot blocker, and allow that path to the basket for Radford.
Taylor's step back 3, and he is having a big day so far.
You talk about a guy that gets hot quick and stays hot. That's Wade Taylor.
How about Wagner? You want to talk about guys who can snake their way through the defense and get it off the glass.
That's his game. He's a driver, downhill driver. He can make shots, but he's not known as a shooter. You want to guard him as a driver.
Taylor again. And the rebound to Onyenso.
Wow, what a move by Reeves.
And he knocks it home. If you look at Reeves' numbers, shot the 3 great last year, even a little better this year. The big difference is not on the 3, it's on 2-pointers. He shot 43% on 2s last year, 62% this year.
And that was a tough 2. That was a difficult little floater, but when he catches it, he's got that shot credibility, so he just looks at the basket and the defense reacts.
Again kept alive by the combo of Radford and Coleman, but it's knocked out of bounds to Kentucky.
I think Coleman probably could have grabbed that ball, but because he wasn't sure, tried to slap it back out.
Coleman will sit. Anderson Garcia is in. He is the leading rebounder in the SEC. 8.7 boards per game for number 11 in white.
And the leading offensive rebounder in the country. And nobody coming off the bench can match his rebounding numbers. It's ridiculous.
And again, Thiero is out. Bradshaw's been sitting forever with a couple of fouls. Wagner. Yes!
Boy, that's one of those where you're going, hey, you want to be taking a challenge shot like that, and he nails it. He adds that to his game, a reliable 3-point shot. How are you going to stay in front of that guy? And he's so good. He guards so hard every play. So impressed with DJ Wagner and his motor.
Solomon Washington from the corner. As the Aggies continue to shoot the 3 ball very well for a team that hasn't done that this year. How about 2 of the stars so far in this game, Jay?
Antonio Reeves off to a great start, and when he and we've talked about him getting over 30 in games, he's cruising for one of those games right now.
What are you talking about?
And you guys trying to get along. How about the offense for Texas A&M? The last 2 games against LSU and Auburn, they shot very, very poorly, but look at the numbers today. That's one of the reasons why they've got a lead. And by the way, no goaltending. That play was reviewed, and the 2 points have come off the board, so it's now 41-34. 2 points deducted from Kentucky's total.
And the problem with that call, that incorrect call being made, was Kentucky got the rebound off that, and Onyenso had a layup that was essentially taken away, so they lost 2 points off that, but they're going to get it back with Reed Sheppard knocking down that shot and getting fouled.
Sheppard, who has had a sensational freshman season, averaging 12 points, better than 4 rebounds, better than 4 assists per game, and he's looking at the real possibility of a 4-point play, considering he's an 87% shooter from the line.
Well, Texas A&M trying to get in gaps off the drive, and if you overhelp there, you're closing out to a really good shooter, and Sheppard had relocated, and that put Wade Taylor in a tough spot. He wound up fouling it as a result.
And a miss for the 87% shooter. Let's check in with Jess Sims again.
Yeah, guys, so with this lineup, we're switching 1 through 5, and with 3 stops in a row, that's a turkey, and there's a big emphasis. They have gotten 0 turkeys.
You need turkeys to win here in College Station. They also, if you take a charge, and that's much harder to do than it used to be with the rule changes, you get a pair of socks.
That's nice.
Would that motivate you to take a charge with a 260-pound guy coming down the lane?
No. Go in traction or get a pair of socks, I'll go barefoot.
Mitchell for 3. And he knocks it down. Whether it's defense, moving the ball, shooting the ball, rebounding, he does it all for the Wildcats.
Well, his last 4 games, Trey Mitchell is averaging 14 points, 12 rebounds, and he's made 7 threes coming into this one. He's just a mature player. Started his career at UMass, wound up at Texas, then West Virginia. But just a great job by G.J. Wagner of snaking that ball screen and kicking it back out. Jace Carter had fallen down. But Trey Mitchell able to stretch the floor at the 4 spot, and because he's such a good passer, you can play through him.
He has 7 points, couple of rebounds, and 3 assists already in this game as Wade Taylor IV is going to go to the line for the Aggies. It has been a physical game, a hard-fought game with a great pace. Both teams making shots, both teams shooting over 50% in this game. And from 3, the Aggies are 6 for 15, and the Wildcats are 7 for 14.
I don't think we anticipated shot making being the story for Texas A&M. It was going to be about their toughness, but they've shown both in this first half.
Coleman back in for Garcia. The Aggies 4 in 13 all time in this rivalry against Kentucky. The Wildcats have won the last 4. Wagner, nice kick. Mitchell's open again. And it belongs to A&M.
Anytime you play against Kentucky, you're not going to hold this team down to 60 points. You're going to have to score to win.
Washington with the offensive rebound.
They are just relentless on the offensive glass. And you have to get it. You can't wait for them to get to you. You got to turn around and go find somebody and crack them, or you're going to have no chance.
They have 8 offensive rebounds to Kentucky's 10 defensive rebounds. So again, getting a very high percentage of their misses. Came in at better than 44%, as we mentioned earlier, #1 in the nation.
And this is a half where they haven't missed a ton of shots, and they're still getting a lot of offensive rebounds.
Sheppard, cross court. Reeves. Now Wagner for 3. Taylor has it and knocks it over to his teammate Ivisic. Boy, Sheppard can really hound you when you got the ball, can he? Ivisic to Coleman, who left it short. Wagner into the corner for Reeves. Fouled and will head to the line.
Boy, Reeves is so good. When he catches it ready to shoot and looks at the basket. He can give a subtle shot fake, and when the defense reacts even a little bit, then he can put it on the deck. And because he's got such a good pull-up game, he's just so dangerous.
Reeves having a big first half. First time at the line in this one. We've got another women's college basketball triple header for you tomorrow afternoon. It all starts at 1 Eastern on ESPN. Number 21 Florida State hosting number 11 Virginia Tech. Then Angel Reese and number 7 LSU take on Auburn, and we cap it right here in College Station, Tennessee against Texas A&M. What a fun environment. Been a few years since you and I were down here to do a game, and awfully excited when we found out we were coming down here. And again, not all the students are back, but a lot of them have come back to start the spring semester, and it is a very lively crowd. The 12th man is in good form here today.
A little stagger action for Texas A&M just to get something going, but Kentucky defended it pretty well.
Hefner open. Tipped, and they've got it again. But then Hefner turns it over.
No reason to go for that, and no reason to throw that pass either.
Wow, and somehow Burks comes up with it, and Kentucky winds up with a 3 from Reeves.
Boy, it worked out on the broken play, but that could have been a disaster.
Lots of time for the Aggies. Taylor is fouled. before the shot, but it is the 7th team foul, so it'll be 1-1 for Wade Taylor IV.
Boy, when Texas A&M corralled that offensive rebound, there was no reason for Hefner to try to make that play. Pull it back out and take the last shot. And because Texas A&M couldn't corral that ball after it was deflected, that led to the open 3 in the corner for Antonio Reeves. Well, just not a good ending to the half for Texas A&M, but excellent for Kentucky.
Wade Taylor IV, the guy didn't come in with a lot of prospect hype, was not a top 100 guy, as Jess Sims talked about, kind of an undersized point guard at this level, but he has elevated himself to becoming one of the best point guards in the nation.
And a guy that spends a lot of time at the free throw line, shot about 6 free throws per game last year, almost to that number this year.
Washington in, Hefner out. Kentucky's got 7.9 seconds, and John Calipari will use the timeout. We will step aside as the Wildcats set up for the final shot of the half. Monday night Super Wild Card Weekend is capped off with the NFC matchup between Jalen Hurts of the Eagles, Mike Evans of the Buccaneers. 8 o'clock on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Plus, megacast coverage with Peyton and Eli, and our ESPN Deportes Spanish language version as well. Coverage begins with a Monday night countdown through at 6 Eastern on ESPN. The Eagles staggering into the playoffs, have lost 5 out of 6, and found out today as well they will also be without A.J. Brown, their outstanding wide receiver, out with a sprained knee. So we'll see what happens between the Eagles and the Bucs. Steelers and the Bills had their game postponed. All the weather in the upper Midwest and now into the Northeast last night and today. Hope everybody is staying safe. That game will now happen Monday afternoon. Great cut. Edwards, no. Tip, no. And the first half, and a fun first half at that, Jay, comes to an end with Texas A&M leading 46-45. Got off to a very hot start from 3, cooled off, but they kept doing their thing on the offensive glass. 9 offensive rebounds in this game, one of the big equalizers for them. And that was a terrifically entertaining 20 minutes of basketball as Buzz Williams is getting set to join Jess Sims right here, right now.
Coach, first half, you shot and rebounded the ball really well. What else did you like?
I like that. We haven't been very good offensively in SEC play. We haven't got consecutive stops at all. And the problem is they're so fast that when we can get it calmed down, we do okay. But there's too many possessions where the ball never stops, off the bounce, off the pass, and we just stay in semi-rotation. We have done a good job on the defensive glass, which helps us offensively. Somehow we've got to try to slow them down better than we have.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Buzz Williams is always working up a sweat in the first half, and so is his team. This is a good one. A&M 46, Kentucky 45 after a half here in College Station. Time now for the Jeep Halftime Report with Seth and Jay Will. Here's Kevin Connors. Welcome back to ESPN Saturday Primetime. You're watching the SEC on ESPN, Reed Arena, College Station, and both teams were shooting the ball well. Antonio Reeves always shoots the ball well. He's got 4 threes in the first half. He is the high scorer in the game. Wade Taylor IV leading the way for the Aggies. He's got 3 assists as well as they went up and down and up and down. And Texas A&M will start the second half with a 1-point lead, up 46-45 on Kentucky. Welcome back, Dan Schulman and Jay Billis. You talked about the offensive rebounding for A&M, and that was, as expected, a big factor in the first half.
Well, it's a huge factor, and Kentucky has to do a better job guarding the ball. They're getting broken down with drives, and they've got to stay in front of it. But when the ball goes up, that's when the fight really begins. And shot goes up here, and watch, you can't just turn and wait for Texas A&M to get to you. You got to go lay a body on somebody, and Texas A&M creates second shots better than any team. This is off a free throw. They work so hard. If they can't get it, they will tap it back out. If you're not alert to that, all of a sudden Texas A&M gets a wide open 3 off an offensive rebound.
Jess Sims with some thoughts from John Calipari at halftime.
Yep, coming out of the locker room, Coach Cal said they have to do a better job of guarding the side guards and the high angle ball screen. But he did say just offensively, it's 2 great teams. that just can't stop either one of them.
Two really good teams, and again, A&M 0-2 in league play. They're better than 9-6. 0-2 suggests this is a good team. Everybody knows how good Kentucky is, and this one has been a lot of fun so far. 1-point lead for the Aggies going to the second half.
But the big question, Dan, is can Texas A&M keep this up for 40 minutes? And that's what Kentucky can do to you with their transition. They can wear you down, get into your legs. In the last 5 minutes of the game, you're a different team.
A block by Levesque. Open is Reeves, and it's his 5th three of the game as Kentucky leads.
And that's the 9th three of the game. That's about what Kentucky averages, 9-10 a game. And they've got it just in the first possession of this second half. And you get a second chance opportunity and kick it out to an open three-point shooter. That's just deadly, because you're thinking about taking it the other way on offense yourself, not about playing more defense.
And Aaron Bradshaw, who has barely played in this game, picked up 2 quick fouls in the first half, picks up his 3rd, 28 seconds into the second half. But well, it looked like he was going to go, then it looked like he was going to stay, and now he's going to go. Here comes Onyenso.
Just a freshman mistake on the hedge. You angle Radford out to the corner. You're trying to protect the basket. And that's an unnecessary foul for a big guy to pick up.
Buzz Williams made an early substitution as well. Henry Coleman just came out of the game for the Aggies. Tyrese Radford had a good first half. They need Hefner to make a couple of shots, and that's his first one of the game as they go back on top.
Hefner got off to a great start against Auburn, had 8 early points, but wound up with only 9 in the game. He's a catch and shoot guy, but has really worked hard to be able to put it on the deck and be more than just a shooter. Everything they're trying to keep to his side and push down to the baseline. This Aggie defense want no middle.
Edwards elevates into a 3. Kentucky now 10 for 19 from 3-point range.
And that was taken with confidence for a guy, Justin Edwards, that has not been shooting the ball well his last 8 games. He's hit 2 in this game.
This is John Calipari's 15th season of coaching the Wildcats. No Kentucky team that he's had has taken as many threes, and no Kentucky team that he has had has made them at the rate they're making them so far this year. Just a hair under 40% coming into the game.
Well, the reason they shoot so many is because they make so many. John Calipari tells his guys all the time, take the shots that you make. And they make threes, so he wants them to take them. And that opens up the floor for their drives. It really spreads the defense out.
Sheppard 54%, Dillingham 44, Reeves 42, just to name a few. Boy, good work by Levesque, but he couldn't finish it. And Buzz Williams, boy, he gets down in his stance. He is yelling at his team to make sure you get back in transition.
What a pass.
Onyenso challenged by Levesque. Mitchell can't get it to go. Wagner thought about it. Reeves from the corner. Aggie ball.
Well, Texas A&M dodged one there.
Taylor end-to-end to tie the game. He collided with Reeves. Reeves got knocked down, and with the ball still live, Taylor tried to help Reeves back up again.
A gentleman.
You don't see that?
Chivalry is not dead, Dan.
Wagner over Coleman. Taylor came in there. He might get called for the foul, but either way, Wagner's going to the line.
Wagner had Coleman on him on a switch, and he was going to cook him. But watch how quickly Wade Taylor gets the ball from one end of the floor to the other. Nobody really stops the ball. Antonio Reeves having to backpedal, and he takes advantage of it with a little inside-out shake and getting all the way to the 10. He is a baller.
This is his 3rd game against Kentucky. He's a junior, won 2 years ago, won last year, and he is having by far his best game against the Wildcats of the 3.
He's being guarded by DJ Wagner, and Wagner is a really tenacious defender. Puts good pressure on the ball. When he switches up and to deny.
Hefner mid-range. Tipped out. A&M has it.
It's amazing how when they can't grab it, they keep it alive, and somebody else is right there.
Taylor again off the glass, again knocked around and out of bounds to the Wildcats. How much of their offensive rebounding ability is it's what Buzz Williams emphasizes?
A lot of it.
Yeah.
A lot of it. You know, it's kind of like with Tom Izzo in Michigan State. You know, that started in the mid to late 90s. They became a great offensive rebounding team, and Tom Izzo will say, well, we couldn't make a shot. We had to do something. And, you know, it's just part of the culture. But there's risk associated with it, and that's transition risk. You know, a program like Virginia, you know, they send 2 guys to the offensive glass and 3 back because they would rather take away your transition than the chance for an offensive board. But it's the opposite philosophy here.
Hefner misses the 3, and Onyenso brings down the strong rebound for Kentucky.
And didn't have inside position on Levesque, just went over the top of him.
Reeves open. And it may be a break there for the Aggies, the way that Reeves has been shooting the ball.
A huge break. You just can't lose him. He's got to be job number 1, is to find where he is in transition.
Hefner puts it on the deck this time. And the senior from Nederland, Texas will be heading to the line.
DJ Wagner so good. He's getting by a quick defender in Wade Taylor IV. And he's got that short little floater. And he is really starting to play his best basketball. Over his last 3 games, just under 15 points a game, 17 of 28 from the field.
And that's his 3rd foul, so he has to come out. But here's one of the reasons why Kentucky is so good. They take him out, and they bring guys like Sheppard and Dillingham in off the bench.
Dillingham, instant offense. And Reed Sheppard is the most complete player on this team, he and Trey Mitchell. But because he can play point, he leads them in steals, leading assist guy, their best shooter percentage-wise. There's a lot to like about this Kentucky team. The ceiling is really high for this young group.
Ranked 6th in the nation, and if you're a Kentucky fan and really into where your team is ranked, you probably know already 4 of the 5 ahead of them lost earlier this week.
Well, if they win in this game, they could wind up being number 2.
Dillingham almost lost it to Ivisic. Now Dillingham for 3. And all kinds of contact and bodies flying, and it's going against the Aggies, I believe. A timeout on the floor early in the second half. The Wildcats up by 2. Kentucky getting all they could handle, and you had to expect that here in College Station. A 2-point lead over the Aggies, but a lot of time left in this one here in the second half. We alluded to the fact that, boy, some highly ranked teams, in fact 4 of the top 5, Jay, lost on the road in conference play to unranked competition earlier this week. This is what happens in January and February in college basketball.
Yeah, it was just unusual. It happened in a 2-day stretch. We've never seen anything quite like that. But your point is correct. Like, it's conference play, and talent is spread around a little bit more now with the portal, with the last year of this COVID exception. You got a lot of older players out there, and teams are tougher to beat, especially when you're on the road.
Mitchell trying to back down Garcia. The double team comes, and he turns it over.
Just a great job by Jace Carter there. He was sitting as a help defender right on that spin by Trey Mitchell, and wound up getting the turnover as a result. Really smart play by Carter.
Buzz Williams trying to buy a little time with Wade Taylor on the bench. Ivisic at the point, 8 to shoot. Washington drives, forces it up, and it goes.
He is a big-time athlete, and late clock, Kentucky let him get to his right hand for that lane line drive. That's just too easy getting to the basket.
The sophomore from New Orleans has tied the game.
Boy, Kentucky's efficiency has been impressive. 20 field goals, 10 of them threes.
How about that rebound? And oh, did they get Washington? I believe they got Washington as Mitchell's down on the deck.
Watch on the opposite side of the basket. Washington just gave a shove to Trey Mitchell. And then just a great drive by Washington on the other end. Kept his eyes on the rim even through contact to finish that play. But Kentucky, of their 20 field goals, they've got 14 assists, only 3 turnovers. That's
make it 15 assists now. Beautiful feed from Dillingham to Onyenso.
All of these Kentucky players are good passers. All of them.
And willing passers.
When you're a good passer, you can be more willing. You don't want the bad passers being willing.
That's a good point. Eli Lawrence short on the 3. And it's back over to the Wildcats.
Take a look at this inbounds pass, and then Rob Dillingham getting basically a high screen that he's able to turn down. That brings the help over. And once the help comes over, Jace Carter, nobody able to recover down for that little drop pass to Onyenso. 1-2-2 3/4 court pressure.
Wade Taylor the 4th back into the game for the Aggies.
And what Texas A&M wants to do is keep, once it gets to a side, keep it on that side and keep it out of the middle. Good pass.
Sheppard passes into the corner to Mitchell, way short. And the tip up and good. I think Onyenso will get credit.
Yeah, it looked like Edwards got it on that,
yeah,
on that second jump. The shot was so short, and usually when you shoot an air ball, the offense has the advantage.
What a reverse by Tyrese Radford. Look at the speed. Dillingham, no. Onyenso keeps it alive.
What a rebound by Onyenso. He did not have inside position. Just grabbed it over the top.
Again, Aaron Bradshaw severely limited today because of foul trouble. Radford is fouled on the floor.
Boy, Kentucky, even after a bucket, a great move by Radford. Kentucky just inbounds it so quickly, and they're right down the floor. But that was a big-time rebound by Onyenso. There's no way he should have gotten that, but got it anyway.
6 points, 7 rebounds now. Productive minutes for Ugonna Onyenso as Antonio Reeves is back in.
And sometimes by necessity, when sometimes players need to be needed, and Onyenso's been needed in this game, and he has delivered.
They don't win the Florida game without Bradshaw. Onyenso trying to help Kentucky to a road victory here in this one. Loose ball belongs to the Cats.
And that's one of the things you mentioned, the Florida game. Kentucky's a resilient team, even though they're young. There's not much panic in this group.
What a block! Solomon Washington with a rejection of a 3. And is he okay?
Looked like he hit his face on the ground. He got his legs taken out from under him. It looked like Dillingham kicked his leg out. Watch this recovery. Yeah, kicked his leg out and took him down. Not sure that's supposed to be called incidental contact. I thought that was an offensive foul when you kick your leg out.
And Buzz Williams is going to take Washington out of the game. They want to have a look at it, make sure he was okay. Remember, he missed the last 2 games after a hard fall when his head hit the court. He has given them some very energetic minutes in this one. Reeves this time putting it on the deck. Soft touch off the glass.
Right over Levesque. That throwback pass was really smart.
And a big bucket at the other end for Radford.
And smart play, even though he's going to get a delay of game. When Radford hit the deck, Jace Carter had the ball. After it went through the basket, he just held it. That's a good way to slow Kentucky's transition.
You might get
a delay of game warning, but at least you save a bucket.
Yep. No jacket for Buzz here in the second half. Pretty good dry cleaning bills. He works up a lather just like his players do. A year at New Orleans and then really good runs at both Marquette and Virginia Tech, but he's a Texas guy. His 5th year now down here with the Aggies. He was born in Greenville, Texas, grew up in Van Alstyne.
Little zone look for Texas A&M, and Kentucky made him pay. The corners are open.
Taylor, no. Kept alive by Garcia. Radford for three. Count it!
Boy, those are the extra possessions that Texas A&M gets by being relentless on the offensive glass. I think Kentucky can take advantage of the corners here.
Deep one for Sheppard. And it belongs to A&M.
Just a little tempo changing defense for the Aggies.
Taylor looked like he got a bit of a bump on his way up, out of bounds. It still belongs to the Aggies with 11:23 to go.
And you get a second shot. If you don't have an immediate stick back, kick it out, and you can get those step-in threes. Tyrese Radford having himself a ball game. Kentucky is the fastest team in America, in my judgment, from the guy who thinks he invented the game right there. But look how quickly they get the ball in after a made basket. They're at half court in less than 2 seconds. Get the ball down court, really challenge your transition defense. And this has been a big factor in the second half, Dan. That rebound by Onyenso, the offensive board. Kentucky has 9 offensive rebounds in this second half. And they're basically even offensive rebounding overall with Texas A&M after getting hammered in the first half on the glass. Been a big difference in Kentucky's pounding of the glass in the second half.
How well did you know Dr. Naismith?
Well, he and I talked quite a bit back in the day.
Did he recruit you?
Over drinks with Raftery.
4-point lead, Kentucky. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, Jess Sims with you here at Reed Arena in College Station, Texas. A fun one between the Wildcats and the Aggies. Kentucky 2-0 in league play. They've won 6 in a row overall. The Aggies 0-2 so far in the SEC. Jace Carter, some good minutes in the first half. Fouled here by Reed Sheppard.
Sheppard's so good at knocking the ball away. He's got great hands and leads this Kentucky team in steals. He's second in the conference, over 2.5 a game, but just got a little bit too much of the arm on this second swipe.
Carter's second team All Missouri Valley Conference last year at UIC. A season high this year of 14 against DePaul, as the seldom seen today Aaron Bradshaw is back in. Onyenso's given them some very good minutes today. Bradshaw has only played 3 minutes today because of the 3 fouls he's picked up.
And just to have that big man rotation now with both Onyenso and Bradshaw healthy gives John Calipari a lot more options.
Antonio Reeves filling it up. He's got 21. Good game for DJ Wagner as well. And the backcourt of Radford and Taylor is combined for 30 for A&M.
Texas A&M continuing to switch everything, but that's going to put him in some spots now with Mitchell being guarded by Taylor. Now he's switched off onto Dillingham.
Pass deflected, out of bounds. It belongs to A&M.
And after Anderson Garcia deflected that ball, Reeves thought he could grab it, but instead he wound up knocking it out.
And now Solomon of Washington has returned, so good to see that he's all right. He's
Turkeys, and that is 3 defensive stops in a row. They've gotten 1 so far, and the goal is 5, and that is a defensive feast.
5 turkeys in a game, a defensive feast, and a happy coach. But tough to get 3 stops in a row, Jay, against a team as talented offensively as Kentucky is.
Well, you got to get some socks too.
Take a charge. Take a charge, win some socks. Aaron Bradshaw, number 4.
Sometimes you have games like this where nothing goes right, and that's one of the things that Aaron Bradshaw, trying to pick up a really difficult cover in Tyrese Radford, because he puts his head down, he's left-handed, driving to his left, he's a body seeker.
So Bradshaw out again, Onyenso in again. Neither team doing very well at the free throw line today. In fact, both of them at the moment are an even 50%. That excuse me, Kentucky 4 for 7, A&M now 7 for 14, so they're right at 50, and now under 50 as Radford missed them both, and he comes into the game a 72% free throw shooter on the season.
And you wonder, Dan, how much gas does Texas A&M have in the tank if they can't get some buckets?
Oh, Washington made a great play to corral the rebound and then just overthrew his buddy Wade Taylor.
You work so hard to get the ball, then pitch it away. It's been a low turnover game overall.
Especially considering the pace and the intensity. That's the first turnover this half for the Aggies as we just passed the midway point.
Onyenso just staying in that short corner.
Reeves open just for a moment. Misses the three and out of bounds to A&M.
And even though Kentucky didn't get that rebound, the Wildcats are pounding the offensive glass. First half, Texas A&M controlled their defensive board. That has not been the case in the second half for the Aggies.
I think the offensive rebounds in the second half, I think, are 10-4 in favor of Kentucky. Taylor off to Washington, and a held ball. The possession arrow will keep it at this end of the floor with A&M. Washington working hard. Anderson Garcia has checked back in now for Jace Carter.
They got to run something for Wade Taylor. You ask yourself right now with this lineup, where does Texas A&M go for offense? It's being guarded by Antonio Reeves.
Radford for three. Another one.
What a big shot. Stop on a dime.
So Tyrese Radford is 0 for 4 from the free throw line and 3 for 4 from the three-point line.
Well, quit getting fouled.
Wagner. Whoa. There is a foul. The block was up high. The body contact and the foul were down low.
Yeah, that was just really good body seeking by DJ Wagner. Watch how he throws his body into Washington here. And Washington was not square, so he wasn't in what they call legal guarding position. But what a heck of a step back move. Just put the brakes on and allowed DJ Wagner to fly by where he couldn't recover. That's a big time shot by Tyrese Radford. All SEC, second team last year.
Recruited by Buzz Williams at Virginia Tech, redshirted his first year there, which was Buzz's last year in Blacksburg. Then Buzz came here, started coaching. Radford stayed 2 more years with the Hokies and is now in his 3rd year, reunited with the Buzz down here in College Station. And he has also scored the last 10 for the Aggies. Ball still live. Lebec won't go.
Got to get those to go. You get those point blank shots, you got to make them.
They continue to switch everything. Wagner on the drive. And a foul away from the ball. On the weak side of the court, I think it's Washington again. It is number 3 on him, team's 5th.
You can see right here, that's Washington. And he's just grabbing Onyenso. And Onyenso wound up falling down. I'm not sure that rose to the level of much beyond incidental contact with the referee right on top of it.
Wagner, good defense by Garcia, but Wagner, better offense.
Well, that's just a big-time individual move by DJ Wagner.
He will become the 3rd Wagner to play in the NBA before long. Garcia the tip-in at the other end.
When Wade Taylor goes to the basket, if a shot blocker comes over and there's no rotation, that's an automatic offensive rebound bucket.
Garcia knocks it away. What a play by Anderson Garcia to tie this game.
He was like a defensive back reading the eyes of the quarterback and just shot the gap.
A deflection. It's loose. The Aggies have it. Taylor. And now here comes Kentucky with numbers.
That starts their break. Wade Taylor with a foul.
Wild sequence here at Reed Arena.
Anderson Garcia on the ball reversal pass. First the offensive rebound tip in, and then reading the eyes of the passer, shooting the gap. Trey Mitchell knew it right away. Leads to an easy bucket.
Kevin, guys, thank you very much. What a great day and evening of college basketball action. And this one has been as entertaining as any of them. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, Jess Sims, Buzz Williams toweling off. Speaking of Jess, she is right alongside the Kentucky huddle. Jess.
Cal said that the last 7 minutes comes down to rebounds and rebounds only. So whoever wins the boards wins the game.
Well, you can understand why that is his attitude, Jay, with the way that A&M can rebound the basketball.
Well, the second half, this has been a different Kentucky team on the glass. Onyenso has been terrific. Great cut by DJ Wagner. You can't allow the ball to come into the middle on out of bounds underneath. You have to send it to the short side of the floor. And Wagner just cut out top. Watch him cut out top like he's going to catch it. And Wade Taylor just fell asleep. But Levesque has to keep that ball from coming into the middle. You don't care if it goes to the short side of the floor. You got to protect the basket.
Third on Taylor. Wagner completes the three-point play.
And this is as well as I've seen DJ Wagner play this year. He's been fantastic. Onyenso coming off the bench for 8 rebounds.
Wagner 18 points, just 1 turnover in 22 minutes. Radford can't get it off the glass and in, and Mitchell brings it down. Here comes Kentucky again.
Onyenso was a presence.
Mitchell for 3.
Tyrese Radford, he has been vintage Tyrese Radford in this game. 19 points, he's drawn 6 fouls, 5 rebounds, 4 assists.
2 more, give him 21.
You can talk all you want about keeping him away from that left hand, but kind of like Ginobili when he was with the Spurs, he's going to get there. Good cut.
Reeves. Don't know if that was a shot or a pass for Onyenso, but either way, A&M can reclaim the lead. Woo. Taylor kind of lost it on the way up, and Onyenso didn't even have to extend his arm to block that.
Tyrese Radford is so strong, the little crossover, and he just gets into the body of DJ Wagner, knocks him back just a bit, and creates that space to get the layup with the left hand.
And Radford, he has half the points that A&M has here in the second half. But again, he's the high scorer for his team with 21. Reeves 21 for the Wildcats. Taylor, the pass. A&M on top.
That little short corner ball screen action off out of bounds underneath is so hard to guard. If you step up, you're giving up a layup. Great fake
by Sheppard, can't get the shot off. Good recovery by the Aggies. Shot clock down to 10. Mitchell in deep. Blocked. Levesque got him from behind.
Everything is contested.
Taylor's going to the free throw line.
John Calipari wanting the officials to look at that block and say, hey, why didn't you call that?
It was a goaltend, but
it wasn't. That was right out of his hands. There was no question that was taken before it got to the backboard or anything. Now, I don't think there was any inkling that it was over the rim or anything like that. It was just a great block.
And again, a new rule this year: if they don't blow the whistle and call it a goaltend in the moment, they cannot go back and look at it later. Here come Carter and Coleman for A&M. Washington and Garcia will sit. Buzz Williams has gotten a lot of mileage out of his front court rotation.
You know, that the rule about going to the monitor for a goaltend call came out of a Kentucky game. Remember LSU,
yes.
Kentucky? That block at the end of the game? That's where that rule came from.
Taylor makes them both. Aggies by 3.
And now it's about defensive stops for Texas A&M at home.
Wow. Sheppard will tie the game.
That was cold-blooded. Sheppard did not hesitate when he caught that ball.
How about this game? Tied at 74, 5:20 to go.
And Wagner doing such a good job trying to stay in front.
Tough catch by Carter, rejected. Mitchell got a piece of it. Dillingham.
Oh, what a steal.
Taylor picks his pocket. Radford. Tipped. Boy, and had Coleman tipped it back, he had a couple of wide open teammates. They don't pay for it, though, at the other end.
Now, I'm not saying that was a bad shot because Sheppard can make that. That would have been a momentum 3. But it wasn't necessary. And I think John Calipari is telling his team, hey, calm down a little bit. You know, we don't have to take that.
Tied at 74, 4:42 to go. A big game, lots of people want to see it. The new A&M football coach, Mike Elko, is here this afternoon. Hall of Famer Scottie Pippen is in the house. And another Hall of Famer, Tracy McGrady, is here as well. And I bumped into T-Mac at halftime. He started his career with the Raptors in Toronto, so we got a little Toronto connection going. I said, hey, can I get a selfie, T-Mac? He said, sure. I'm starting to take the selfie, and all of a sudden somebody grabs the phone out of my hand, says, give me that. I turn around, and it's John Calipari. He goes, let me take the picture. As he's walking back out onto the court to start the second half, he stops and takes a picture. Nobody gets less stressed, I think, during a game than John Calipari.
Well, I think you'll receive a bill in the mail for his photography services. Oh, what a move.
And what a block by Onyenso.
Onyenso's been such a presence in this game. His work on the glass, his rim protection. And that's something that was missing early in the season for Kentucky, was having shot blockers, rim protectors. But now with Bradshaw and Onyenso back healthy, Calipari's got that in his bag.
Wade Taylor, the fourth, going back to the line.
Wade Taylor leads this team in scoring, assists, steals, and just as importantly, free throw attempts. He may be small, but he finds a way to get fouled.
5 for 6 today, 83% on the season. The guy Buzz Williams wants at the line. Next on ESPN, another SEC matchup. Arkansas taking on Florida down in Gainesville, and then at 6 Eastern tonight. The tip, by the way, at 4:10 Eastern for that game. And then at 6 Eastern tonight on the SEC network, LSU and Auburn. LSU came in here and won last week. And how about Bruce Pearl's team? The Tigers are playing great right now. They have won 8 in a row. They beat Arkansas by 32 last week, and then they beat A&M by 11 a few days ago.
I think they're top 10 good,
yeah.
Auburn.
They are flying up in the rankings. A&M by 2.
There's the double team of the ball screen. You can't allow anybody to step through. Wagner stepped through it.
Good cut by Dillingham, and this game is tied again.
Boy, with allowing Wagner to step through, you get the middle of the paint, and that puts you in rotation.
A 3 for Taylor.
Nobody picked him up off the ball screen in transition.
Taylor with 21. And now a foul at the other end. Reeves will go to the line.
Wait, so it's almost like it's no layups allowed.
Taylor's got the last 7 now for A&M as they go back and forth here for the late stages of this one in College Station. Wagner the dish, Dillingham the finish, and then the preseason SEC Player of the Year is playing like it today here for the Aggies.
Arkansas coming up next. Dan and Jay.
Another SEC matchup after this one. Thank you guys here This has been close the entire game. The biggest lead, actually, A&M was up by 11 at one point late in the first half. Kentucky came back, took the lead. But after that miss by Reeves, the Wildcats still down by 2.
And the offense has gone through Tyrese Radford and Wade Taylor, both of them with 21. And 1 turnover between the two of them.
42 points, 9 assists, 1 turnover. That is unbelievable.
A 9-to-1 assist-turnover ratio from your backcourt is pretty good.
Radford. Whoa, another block by Onyenso. That's his 5th of the game. 25 minutes of action, 5 blocks today for Ugonna Onyenso.
What a good matchup between DJ Wagner and Wade Taylor.
Levesque the screen. Taylor the 3. Got it!
Trey Mitchell was right there to help, but the step back and 3. What a huge play by Wade Taylor the 4th.
Taylor having himself a day. 24 to lead all scorers here this afternoon. John Calipari calling a timeout. There has been a lot of emotion, a lot of intensity on both sides. Just a great college basketball game here today in College Station. A&M having lost 2 in a row, trying to snap Kentucky's 6-game winning streak, and they're up 5 with under 3 minutes to go.
And what a difference one game makes. Against Auburn, Texas A&M shot 29% in the game. They had 19 turnovers. 7 of those from Henry Coleman. And Wade Taylor really struggled. Went 2 of 16. He's got 24 in this one.
11 made threes for A&M in this game. Kentucky's got 12. Onyenso keeps it alive, and a foul.
I think they're going to get Levesque.
Yep.
Onyenso has done such a great job in this game. He didn't have inside position yet again, and still is able to come away with that rebound. He has been a gigantic factor in this game. I mean, that wasn't a block out. That was a in the trenches line of scrimmage block.
1-1 for Onyenso, who has only been to the line 7 times this season, 3 for 7. This is his first trip today.
He has earned his playing time in this one. I know Aaron Bradshaw's been in foul trouble, but Onyenso has been fantastic.
One of 2. Bodies flying again. Aggie ball.
Well, Kentucky was working that second slot. Mitchell and Edwards trying to cross, and those are difficult blockouts to secure.
Taylor deflected away. It's loose. Wagner's got it. And a timeout. He called a timeout.
Actually, Mitchell came in and called it. Smart play by Trey Mitchell to maintain possession. Even though Kentucky had the possession arrow. After this ball is deflected, watch Trey Mitchell run in and yell timeout there.
So it's Kentucky ball, 2:23 to go, down by 4. Sometimes the absolute best college basketball game you can get is the big-time blue blood, highly ranked program going on the road and getting the best that the home team has to offer. This one has delivered and then some today.
And you have to be impressed with how hard and together Texas A&M has played all game long. And the shot making has been terrific. I don't think we expected to see Texas A&M knock shots down at the rate they have. We expected them to play this hard and pound the glass like they have. But do they have enough gas in the tank for this last 2:23 of regulation? Because Kentucky gets into your legs, and it can show up late. It hadn't shown up for Wade Taylor and Tyrese Radford, though. They've been magnificent in this game.
One sub out of the timeout. Rob Dillingham returns for Kentucky. By his standards, he's had a quiet day. He's got 6 points in 19 minutes today.
And John Calipari having both DJ Wagner and Antonio Reeves sitting.
Just took Wagner out to put Dillingham in. Reeves was out before the timeout and stays on the bench. Dillingham right into the action, and he knocks down a three.
And that's why he was put in the game. The bodies were on the floor. He just rose up over all of them.
Look out. Here he comes. Boy, he is energetic at the best of times, and he's got fresh legs right now. Taylor gets free. Hits again. His sixth made three of the game, and he has the last 13 points for the Aggies.
Dillingham hits a big one, and Wade Taylor with the immediate answer.
Nice look inside, but Mitchell surrounded. Dillingham again. Oh, boy.
Boy, what a smart play by Trey Mitchell. Surrounded inside, was able to find Dillingham with that great pass.
A minute 20 to go. Taylor. Bradford. What a rebound and putback.
That ball's in the air. If you're not laying a body on Tyrese Radford, you know where he's going. They don't get the three the conventional way. Now watch Radford. Sheppard was behind him, and he had an easy path to the basket. Onyenso just hits him as he's going up, and Buzz Williams, I think he's happy. You can't get that kind of joy in any book, can you?
No.
What a play by Tyrese Radford.
What a game he has had. The two guards now, Taylor and Radford, have combined for 50 points in this game.
And the free throw line has really hurt Texas A&M.
Dillingham knocks down another one.
But that's 9 straight points for him.
Boy, did John Calipari pick the right time to put that guy back in the game.
Well, microwave doesn't do it. That's old technology.
Mitchell switches on to Taylor, makes him pick up his dribble, but then a foul.
Oh, they got a timeout. One of the officials gave a timeout.
Oh, wow.
Because Buzz Williams is out calling for a timeout. Boy, Rob Dillingham, are you kidding me? One of the best isolation players you're going to find, just picked off. Levesque's got to be up there. And he just came off that screen firing.
So 3 quick threes for him. It's tied at 87. And the ball belongs to the Aggies with 45.9 seconds remaining in regulation.
Well, there's no question where Buzz Williams wants this ball to go. It's going to be in the hands of Wade Taylor and Tyrese Radford, and that's it.
One of the few Kentucky fans here in the building. They travel about as well as any fan base in college basketball, and they are scattered around this building. But boy, has it been lively here at Reed Arena today, with the vast majority of the crowd, of course, favoring the hometown Aggies. Sheppard, Edwards, Dillingham, Onyenso, Mitchell, Garcia, Coleman, Washington, and then, of course, Radford and Taylor.
Your first shot defense has to be good, but just as important, if not more important, are getting blockouts.
Trying to get it to Taylor. Dillingham preventing that.
Yeah, just denying him.
Radford's going to make a play. The rebound to Garcia. They got a fresh 20. Taylor off balance. Tipped up and in.
They're going to I'm not sure. It looks like they may be waving it off. Or are they?
They can look at it. They will look at this. The Kentucky bench was screaming that that ball was over the cylinder.
Looked like Coleman got his fingers on it. Apropos that an offensive rebound is looking.
No basket. The play is under review.
So the call on the court, that's Pat Adams. The call on the court, no basket. The play is under review.
So the question is, was it over the cylinder when it was touched? Surprised there wasn't a foul called there. Yeah, it was.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a good call. Offensive basket interference. If any part of the ball is still over the cylinder going all the way up to the ceiling.
Yeah.
And part of that ball was still over the front of that rim. Looks like Onyenso got a finger on it too.
Yeah, after the fact. Right? Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I'm not sure that matters. I think the initial contact by Coleman there kills the play. That's automatic basket interference. So whatever Onyenso did after that doesn't matter.
So basically a free timeout for both coaches during the review.
And I'm told that when you get the replay from behind the basket that goes through the backboard, that's not the definitive one because of the angle and the glass and all that. The referees don't like that. They would prefer the last one that we saw that was really clear.
After review, the call will stand. Basket interference, and the clock will be 28.6.
Thank you, Pat Adams. After the review, the call will stand. No basket. They're going to put a little bit of extra time on the clock.
Excellent use of the microphone by Pat Adams.
Yes.
Dulcet tones.
That explanation helping the crowd here and the TV audience at home. Arkansas, Florida coming up next here on ESPN. .6 seconds to go. The shot clock turned off. Now the officials trying to get the players back on the floor. Kentucky ball. Sheppard, Dillingham, Wagner, Mitchell, and Onyenso. No changes for the Aggies.
A very good ball handling group out on the floor for Kentucky.
It starts with Dillingham. Gives it up to Wagner, who lost it. Radford. And a foul will send him to the line for two.
We're just talking about the sure-handed ball handlers for Kentucky. And that wasn't necessarily a forced turnover. It was an unforced error that put this Texas A&M team. DJ Wagner just mishandled the ball. And Tyrese Radford just putting his head down, going right to the basket in an advantage situation.
Now keep this in mind as Radford heads to the line. A 72% free throw shooter on the season. We talked about that earlier, but he is 0 for 5 from the free throw line in this game.
But he is a gamer. Now he gets 2 free throws here. But Wade Taylor IV has been just outstanding. He gets any space and he gets that shot up so quickly. He's had 35 in a game earlier this year, 34. And Tyrese Radford, his backcourt mate, has been equally as magnificent. Getting to the rim more often. His offensive rebounding has been stellar. What a backcourt tandem these two have been in this game.
50 points between them with Radford about to head to the line. They've also combined for 9 assists, just 2 turnovers. They have been great. Again, Radford is a 6th-year player. He is as experienced. He redshirted 1 year. Now he's in his 5th year playing. He is about as experienced as any guy you will see in the country, and he is heading to the line for 2 of the bigger free throws of his career. This is the last timeout for Kentucky.
Be interesting to see if Texas A&M comes out. You assume that at least one of these free throws is going to be made. If Texas A&M comes out with full court pressure to try to slow the advance for Kentucky.
What a hard-fought game. What an entertaining college basketball game here today. Washington trying to stay between Dillingham and Radford. Doesn't want Radford to hear anything. Looked like Dillingham was talking to him a little bit. Now Radford at the line.
Now this is where a free throw blockout is still a big deal for Kentucky. You got Coleman and Garcia working the second slot. And Dillingham has to be alert if they tip it out if it's missed.
Made them both. No timeouts for Kentucky.
Smart move by Buzz Williams to sub there. And now you can set up your defense.
Here comes Dillingham. 5 seconds. The 3. No. Taylor had it. It's loose. No, but a foul is called with a half second to go.
Wow.
Did they get Radford? Or Washington? Solomon, Washington? No, now they've corrected it and changed it to Radford. 23, not 13.
Reed Sheppard right there for the offensive rebound. Wow. And in a game where rebounding has been...
Review for clock to make sure the clock is correct.
In a game where rebounding has been so important, Kentucky gets a second chance opportunity.
And they're going to the monitor to see did they have the foul call on the right person. The foul is
Wade Taylor. Looks like it was Wade Taylor.
Or was it Radford from behind Sheppard? It's kind of hard to tell. I don't think it's... When does the hand go up? Is it there? But
yeah, maybe it was after.
But there's not a lot there.
I thought they were just looking at the clock. But
yeah, you might be right, because I thought I heard Pat Adams say 0.6 there, so maybe it was just a clock situation. That reach in, that slap right there, maybe by Radford with the left hand.
They didn't touch him on that.
There's not a lot there.
Tough call. When you have a 90% free throw shooter in Reed Sheppard, who, what did he make, 9 free throws down the stretch against Florida late in the game?
Well, he's going to get all the energy that the fans here in College Station have right now. Trying to make this tough on him. Didn't bother him at all.
Big time free throws by Reed Sheppard. We're going to have some extra basketball here. One thing Kentucky doesn't want to do, just don't foul.
Oh, my! Could you have imagined if that had gone in? ...40 minutes, not enough to settle this one. The Wildcats and the Aggies Going to overtime, Wade Taylor just about won it with a 70-footer. More hoops coming. Absolutely nobody, Kevin. What a game. 89-89. I would imagine a lot of Aggies fans not thrilled with the foul call at the end that put Sheppard on the line. He drained them both to tie the game, and now we got some extra basketball. Overtime brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, Jess Sims here at Reed Arena in just a fantastic game that's going at least 5 more.
Everything was contested in that second half. And how about Reed Sheppard, whether you like the call or not, stepping to the line and hitting those big free throws under pressure on the road. That's gutsy.
87% of the season, just a freshman. Plays like he's a lot older than that, just a freshman. How do you regroup emotionally? You know, all the drama and adrenaline and intensity. And A&M thinks they're a second away from winning the game. How do you regroup for overtime?
You lace them up and play. There's nothing you can do about it. You like the call, don't like the call, you got to play. And Texas A&M has put themselves in a position to win the game. But now they got to play 5 more. And, you know, Kentucky may be a little bit fresher. They've got more bodies. We talked about the cumulative effort and gas in the tank, and clearly Texas A&M had enough. And now they got to find 5 more minutes of it.
Nobody is fouled out. The only 2 players in the game with 4 fouls are both Wildcats. Aaron Bradshaw, who hasn't played much, hasn't played in a while. He's on the bench. Reed Sheppard is the other guy with 4. And it belongs to A&M, I believe. Or wait a minute, now KB Burdett, one of the officials. Oh, it looked like he was making his way over to talk to Pat Adams, but it is Texas A&M ball. Taylor and Radford, 52 between them and 29 of the Aggies' last 35. And there's 2 more, courtesy of Radford.
Just a high ball screen, and Levesque did a great job of shielding out Onyenso so he couldn't come over and block the shot.
Dillingham won't go. And Levesque down with a rebound for A&M.
A&M does not have to be in a hurry here. Tyrese Radford getting downhill has been huge in this game.
Taylor for 3, wide left. He has made 6 of them today, but that one wasn't close.
Now take a look at this ball screen coming out top. Radford able to get to that right hand. He's lefty. That's where they want to force him. But because Levesque was able to shield off Onyenso, that allowed Radford to get all the way to the 10.
Sheppard waving off Mitchell. Dillingham the crossover, got his man in the air. Now the kick. Reeves inside. And Garcia the rebound.
A nice job by Washington to recover and bother that shot. What an athlete.
They play on. Radford again, and he's going back to the free throw line. Boy, when he decides he wants to get somewhere, good luck keeping him from getting there.
He looks like he's a running back for Alabama. Just gets going downhill. And so good with the ball. And he's a really good creative finisher around the basket.
27 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists in this game.
We've talked about Reed Sheppard hitting those 2 free throws. The 2 that Radford hit were just as big.
Missed his first 5 today, made the 2 when it counted the most near the end of regulation. Missed this one, has 1 more coming. One for 2, 3 for 9 in the game. Aggies by 3. Dillingham for 3.
He got hit. I thought he got hit. Tough shot.
Step back 3 from the wing.
Dillingham puts good pressure on the ball as well.
Taylor using the screen, kicks to Radford. And another offensive rebound for the Aggies, this time Levesque. Taylor, the force, won't go. Now Kentucky's got it, and here's Dillingham.
Oh, what a block.
What a play by Solomon Washington.
Boy, he timed that out, too. Shortened his steps.
And to do it without fouling. Wagner the drive. Nope. Tipped around, and it belongs to Taylor and A&M. And a foul on Dillingham.
Boy, just a smart play by Wade Taylor. Had Dillingham in jail behind him, just put the brakes on and picked up the foul. Boy, a ridiculous block by Solomon Washington. Watch him time his steps out. He was not trying to beat him to the basket. He wanted to wipe that away, and Dillingham took it to the other side of the rim, and still he was able to get up and block it. That's just magnificent defense by Solomon Washington. Came from the 9th Ward in New Orleans, Louisiana. 9th Ward was what was hit so hard by Hurricane Katrina. And what a super athletic, above the rim athlete.
Taylor extends the lead. Bradshaw and Reeves now into the game for Kentucky. Onyenso and Dillingham are out. And the lead is 5. Washington sits. Jace Carter comes in for the first time in a while. And Buzz Williams is down in a stance again. He is fired up.
Boy, he has to be impressed with the fight his team has shown.
Some great shooters out there for Kentucky. Sheppard and Reeves. Mitchell the kick. Tough catch. Wagner. And Mitchell runs it down.
Well, how about that pickup that Reed Sheppard made off that loose ball?
10 to shoot and 2 to go here in overtime. Wagner. Bradshaw from the corner. He can make them, but he doesn't here. He had a huge 3 late in the win over Florida last week, but can't knock that one down.
And right now, Texas A&M is going to slow it down. The clock is their friend. You can take this down.
Kentucky hasn't scored a point here in overtime. It's 5-0 A&M here in overtime.
This is a huge possession right now for A&M.
Radford off to Levesque. Oh! Somehow it won't go. But they've got it back yet again.
How did that not go in?
That defied physics. Taylor kept alive. And they've got it yet again. Levesque doing all the dirty work underneath the basket.
Well, here's how offensive rebounding helps win you a game. Just extra possessions. Kentucky's been on defense for the last minute.
Less than a minute to go in one of the longest possessions you'll ever see. Radford. Yes!
Unreal. Did they call an offensive foul there? They called an offensive foul.
Offensive foul on Radford.
Oh, my. Oh, my. Oh, no.
For kicking out his legs?
Oh, no. That's not right. Wow. An offensive foul. Wow.
Tyrese Radford for kicking out his legs on the three-point attempt. And Buzz Williams is livid. So the lead still 5.
And can Kentucky answer here?
Sheppard fouled on the 3. Oh, boy. And Buzz Williams is now past livid. He's trying to keep Wade Taylor calm right now.
Well, you have to give him the opportunity to land. And the question is, there was some contact, and that's a foul. I'm just still stunned at the other end.
And again, a great free throw shooter on the line in Sheppard. He's got 3 coming. First point in overtime for Kentucky. Carter in. The question is for whom? Who's coming out? Levesque's coming out.
You have to expect Kentucky's going to come with full court pressure and go after the ball.
Timeout, John Calipari. That's his last one. What a game.
It has been fantastic. Fantastic.
I mean, you talk about twists and turns and emotional up and downs.
And high-level plays being made.
And 2 big calls in the last few moments, both going Kentucky's way. This, an offensive foul on Radford for kicking out his leg, so it nullified the basket as well. The ball went in the basket, but that didn't count. And then the foul there on Taylor, sending Sheppard to the line where he made 2 out of 3. I didn't touch him, he said.
I mean, there was contact, wasn't very much. I'm not bothered by that. But the other one, I just didn't see it. I didn't see it that way.
Let's take a look at our Wild recap, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. There are people putting up numbers today, especially Taylor and Radford in the backcourt for A&M. That foul on Taylor, by the way, his 4th, the first A&M player with 4. And just a sensational game. Kentucky trying to extend a 6-game winning streak. A&M trying to snap a 2-game losing streak.
The individual plays that have been made in this game have been jaw-dropping. Whether it's the block shots by Solomon Washington, the hard plays on the glass, Wildens Levesque, some of the plays he made, and then Rob Dillingham making those 3 threes in a row and the big free throws. This has been just action and drama packed from the opening tap.
And there's just something different about conference play. There just is. You get into this kind of an environment, whether you want to call it a rivalry game, whatever, everything just gets a little bit heightened in conference play.
Yeah, everybody's a rival of Kentucky, aren't they? It's a rivalry game every game they play. But these young Wildcats, and we've seen a lot of upsets to start conference play. The fact that the top 4 of the top 5 lost back-to-back days is a little bit unusual. It's not unusual to see good teams lose on the road to other good teams, but Kentucky, this young team has been in some battles, and they do not take a step back. They may get beat, but you're going to have to kill them.
1 substitution. John Calipari just put Rob Dillingham back in the game. Sheppard is on the bench at the moment. Actually 2. Edwards is in the game as well. So this is his defensive unit he's got out there right now.
And on the catch, you have to be prepared for a trap, and you have to be prepared for Kentucky to slap at the ball and go after it.
Taylor gets it into Radford and now gets it back, and there's the quick foul by Reeves.
And I think they would have rather fouled Tyrese Radford on the catch than foul Wade Taylor. I mean, Wade Taylor shoots 83% from the line. That's top 10 in the league.
Radford's only 3 for 9 today, although he's made 3 of his last 4. Taylor's 9 for 10 from the line today.
I mean, my guess is that's what John Calipari wanted him to do. If Radford catches it, go ahead and foul him. Don't wait till Taylor gets it.
Sheppard back in, Reeves out.
A 2-possession game now. Whether Taylor makes or misses this one. And for Kentucky, I think you try to get this to the rim as quickly as you can. If the defense reacts, you kick it out for a 3, great, but you don't need a 3.
Conley makes them both. Dillingham kicks it out. Now Wagner on the drive. Short. and the loose ball bounces to Mitchell, and there's a foul.
Well, it looked like Garcia had that ball, then lost it.
Yep.
And then I think he fouled Mitchell right after Mitchell caught it.
Boy, just a bad break there for A&M because Garcia definitely appeared to have his hands on it.
Now watch Garcia run in, and he has this ball. It's almost like his own guy knocked it away from him. Oh, that's a big miss.
72% on the season. Fifth-year senior. Still a two-possession game. And again, Radford wants to give it back to Taylor. This is where Buzz Williams wants the basketball.
I don't know why they just didn't foul Radford right away.
Agreed. Look at all the seconds coming off the clock. And now Garcia's going to shoot them, but about 11 seconds came off the clock, and Radford was the guy who caught it as soon as they inbounded it.
And the time was a huge factor in how long it took to put somebody at the line. Garcia shoots just under 70% for the season.
His first trip there today.
Boy, what a response by Texas A&M. They thought they had the game won in regulation. Had to have been heartbroken to go to overtime, and then responded in the most positive way.
8 seconds to go. And thrown out of bounds, and that'll do it. 3.5 to go. A&M ball up by 5. What a win for the Aggies. The 5th unranked team to beat a top 6 team this week. And this one is notable as any of them, surely purely for the quality of the play today and just the great entertainment value that this game provided. 97-92 in overtime. A&M defeats Kentucky. What an afternoon.
Just a magnificent basketball game. Nobody lost this one. Texas A&M just took it.
They get their first conference win. Kentucky's 6-game winning streak comes to an end, and this is a great lead. This is the kind of year it figures to be in the SEC. And boy, you got to be happy for Wade Taylor IV, too, a junior. His first 2 years, they played Kentucky once each. He didn't particularly have a great game in either. A&M lost both of those games. Now not only does he play great, but they get a win as well.
Well, Jess Sims was talking about him playing with an edge. An edge is what got him here, and he needed to increase that edge. And he did it along with Tyrese Radford and the entire Texas A&M team against Kentucky in this one.
What can you say about the guards? They combined for 59 points, 15 rebounds, and 9 assists. Just the two of them, Taylor and Radford. Let's go cross court. Jess Sims is with Buzz Williams.
Coach Wade, congratulations. Yeah, come on over here. The smile says it all. What are the emotions that are going through your mind and your heart right now?
We've been through a lot in the last week, but the character of who these guys are and how their parents raised them, you saw it for 45 minutes.
For 45 minutes, absolutely. And Wade, what's going through your mind right now? We talked about the edge, right? We're talking about the edge. Coach said he believes in you. That's why you are here at Texas A&M. How are you feeling right now?
Honestly, I can't describe how I'm feeling right now. You see the 12th man behind me. We couldn't do it without them. We've been through a lot starting so far. We just wanted to show that we haven't changed. We're still the Aggies, and I think we showed the world that today.
Go celebrate with your team. Congratulations.
The celebrating will begin. And those two guys deserve every bit of the celebrations that are coming their way. A&M over Kentucky, 97-92.